Today we're going over some important changes that the Biden administration's proposing and what it might mean for your retirement. The first one's only going to impact people who have assets that are over $1 million, but the next one, in my opinion, is going to impact everyone, and it's going to really impact how much tax that you might pay on withdrawals and when you take out money from your IRAs and 401ks. But first, if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller. I run Streamline Financial, a retirement planning advisory firm, and we help people in their 50s and 60s map out and implement their retirement plans. If you'd like to have a short call with me, or if you'd like some helpful resources, check the description below. So on to the first proposed change from the Biden administration. It has to do with how much tax you could pay on your estate. Now, there's really only 3 places that you can leave your money when you pass away. It's either your heirs, charity, or the government. I don't know about you, but most of the people that I talk to, they would prefer to leave more money to the first 2 than the last one, right? And as I said before, this will impact those who have more than $1 million in assets when they pass away, because that estate tax exemption limit that I'm hearing mentioned by the Biden administration could be changed from up to around 11 million down to 3.5. Now, if you think you'll never have that amount of money, remember that if you're in your 50s or 60s with around $1 million, 1 million at 7% growth rate for the next 20 years, that gets close to about 4 million. And that's not including your house value or other real estate that you might have, really all of the other assets. So that all of those things are included in the estate tax calculation. So what does that $3.5 million exemption mean? Well, if this is what the exemption is changed to, and you have an estate over $3.5 million for an individual, anything over that amount could be taxed by the federal government. So say that you have 4.5 million when you die. That $1 million that's over that exemption amount could be taxed at 40% or 400K extra going to the government. Now, that doesn't even include what your state estate tax might be. And that's a whole different calculation. So we can see that it could really mean some big dollars here. Now, there are some good ways to get around this, which I'm going to go over. But if you're serious about estate planning, don't take this video as advice, because I'm not an estate planning attorney. I just help people and talk with other estate planning attorneys around this area. So if you're interested, I would recommend finding one and discussing these strategies with them. But here are a few quick ideas to have in the back pocket when you do talk with an attorney. The first one has to do with paying less to the government by getting more to charity. And then the second one has to do with paying less to the government by getting more to heirs. And as you can tell, the main goal here is getting a little bit less to the government if you can. Regarding getting more to charity so that it's not included in your estate, many people will designate charities as one of the beneficiaries on their accounts. So maybe their IRA accounts, or even sometimes they'll choose other accounts, but money going to a charity should be excluded from that estate tax calculation when you die. Also, many people designate donor advised funds as a beneficiary on their accounts, which can be set up to actually grant out certain dollar amounts or percentages of that donor advised fund value even after you pass away. So it could be a nice way to continue to support smaller organizations that you care about who might not be able to handle a big lump sum payment all at once, or sometimes those smaller nonprofits could kind of throw things off if they get a big payment all at once. But regarding getting more to heirs, this reminds me really of a Ron Blue quote, and now it's kind of nerdy, but I'm a nerd, so I can say this. The quote is, "Do your giving while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going." So yes, it's kind of cheesy, but what it's saying is just while you're alive, you can manage where your money goes, and you can see the benefit and actually see the blessings that you can give to the charities and the impact of those charities, and then the blessings you can give to your family members or your friends, and see the impact. Why not have 2 parties enjoy that? The receiver, and then also you. We know that when you do give, you actually feel better if you can see a change happening. So that's another way to reduce that estate tax exemption amount. And actually, I have clients who are actors, and they've done pretty well for themselves, and they have a lot of friends who are struggling actors, and this past year has been so difficult for a lot of actors because of no work. So they've been secretly helping those who really struggled this past year, and it's been giving my clients a lot of joy to see the impact that they're making on other people. So that was the first potential Biden tax change that could be implemented and could affect your retirement all around estate planning. The next one, in my opinion, you won't need to be a millionaire for this to impact you. It just might sting a little bit more if you do have over $1 million or a little bit more than that. So, and there's ways to get around this one too. But first, could you let me know if you like this kind of video by clicking the like button? Because I sometimes use that as a measurement tool, just so I know that these are the kinds of videos that are either helpful or not. So if it is helpful, please click that like button. So this next one has to do with the amount that you might have to pay on the withdrawals from your 401ks, IRAs, any of those pre-tax accounts that you have in your retirement plan. One of the traditional or rule of thumb withdrawal strategies is to defer your IRA and 401k withdrawals as long as you can, because it's all tax deferred growth and it's growing tax deferred, which is nice. And I could see the reasoning of why you'd want to defer that. But what we find when we model out these specific withdrawal strategies and tax plans for our clients, we find that waiting to take money from these pre-tax accounts could be causing them to actually pay more tax over their lifetime, more than they actually need to. When we first model this out for clients, they're actually really surprised that if they wait to take that pre-tax money and they get to the required minimum distribution age, right now it's at age 70, that's where they're forced to take out of their pre-tax monies, and they're automatically shot up to a higher tax bracket than they were expecting, which means that they're paying more tax than what they were expecting in their 70s. The way around this is to design a retirement income plan. We actually run a streamlined retirement income system that gets the investment plan and the income plan and tax plan all working together. But to summarize the income system in just simple terms, we've seen that it often makes sense to withdraw more money from pre-tax accounts first and then pay the tax now versus waiting till paying it later. But again, don't take that advice and just implement it based on these things that we're talking about, because I don't know your specific situation, but I would really sit down with someone and kind of model out, see which one allows you to pay the least amount of tax. Many times we'll model tax rates staying exactly the same where they are and tax brackets staying exactly the same where they are. And clients, when they get to that RMD stage, they end up getting spiked up to that next bracket. Now, related to the Biden tax changes, right now they're raising tax rates on people with incomes of around more than 400K. But the question to think or ask ourselves is, do we really think that tax brackets are going to be the same 5 or 10 years from now? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know that we're at historically low tax rates right now. And when we also look at history, it usually moves in cyclical nature. And the country is in quite a bit of debt right now. So I don't want to make any big assumptions. And that's why we model out a bunch of different scenarios, whether tax rates going up, staying the same, or going down. And I actually want to show you what this means, because I think it would really be helpful to see a visual representation and see what could make sense for you and what it means in dollar terms. And if you'd like to see that too, then subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because I plan on creating a video just so we can look at those withdrawal strategies and which one makes the most sense for you. And as always, thank you for joining me today. If this was helpful to you, then reach out if you'd want to talk, or I'll see you in the next video. Take care.